Welcome to Hear This with Emily Farber and
Adam Pretorius.
Awesome. We are here today to talk about lead generation. Always an important topic with real estate agents because, as we all quickly learn, business just does not roll up to your door. You have to go get it. So let's talk about how do agents get leads that they can turn into business.
And I think that's the worst part about being a real estate agent is your number one job is prospecting.
Yes.
And nobody wants to do it, right? Mm-hmm. And I would actually argue against that. Like, you can have all the leads in the world, but our number one job is to force someone to do a call to action. And call to action is the only way, because you can have 1,000 leads, but if none of them convert to actual sales, then you have no business. So how do you get a call of action? That's a whole different discussion. But let's talk about lead generation, because I know what you really want to talk about today.
What do I really want to talk about, Adam?
Well, Zillow.
Zillow sucks.
Look, I think this is a misconception. Like, I think a lot of agents love to hate Zillow because it's a scapegoat. It's something easy to say. And there's things to not like about it. But
like the fact that they're trying to eliminate your job?
No, absolutely not. They're a public company. They need to make money. And they make money through advertising. And the number one person who pays for advertising is real estate agents.
And you're paying to advertise your own information that they have taken.
I understand that. They're exploiting and using the system to their best benefit. But that's just capitalism in general.
And because there's agents out there that are too lazy or too uncreative to figure out how to do it on their own.
Right. There's alternative lead generation tools out there, but Zillow's an easy one that people love to go to. And in some ways, it can be an effective one for the right personality and the right business strategy. And so I'm not a critic of it.
It also costs a crap ton.
It does
of money.
cost a lot of money. You have to consider that and weigh that in. But I'm someone that used to do Zillow paid advertising. Okay, I don't do it anymore. And I have reasons. I'll get to that in a minute. But let's talk about why I think there are some benefits before we get all critical of it, which is where you want to go. So Zillow is effective. People love to hate it, agents do, because it is very expensive. But it's also the number one tool that buyers like to use. It's sexy. It's easy to use. It's their favorite search engine for looking for homes.
I will agree with you on that. Zillow is the front door to real estate for most consumers.
It's the Cadillac. So people want to use this platform. So people wouldn't use it if it wasn't so great. And so now they have this asset that's heavily used that they want to now sell advertising.
How many phone calls do you get a week from them to try to get you to sign up? It's obscene.
They call about once a month. I mean, I'm pretty blunt with them and direct. But here's the thing. Here's how they work. You buy spots in a zip code. There's like 7 to 9 spots in a zip code, and you pay for the percentage of leads that you want to generate from them. So every time somebody's on a listing, they see this call to get more information or whatever, and it's a paid, and it goes to whoever's percentage is one of those 7 people in that zip code. And the problem is, it's very impersonal, very, very impersonal. But it is effective to a point because there are people that use it a lot, and you do get leads. Here's the question, or the thing that I struggle with.
The problem is, though, when they click on it and it calls and you pick up the phone, they don't care who you are. They're not invested in you.
Absolutely.
You might as well be a slug that has the benefit of speech.
And I entirely agree with you. And so for me, that's not my type of business. The relationships that I have with my clients, and I'm an established agent, so that's very different, right? Like when you're a top producer, you're an established agent, you're top of your game in the market. It's very different than being a new agent or someone trying to break into a new market. But that said, I prefer to have longevity relationships. My absorption rate, the clients that I have, they're almost like 95% of my clients are all referrals. Mm-hmm. And referrals are very loyal. They're very, very personable relationship. It's a very different relationship than what Zillow offers. But that said, Zillow does provide a means of business. And there's a number of top producers in the market that all do the Zillow paid advertising.
You're not telling me anything I don't know.
So here's the thing. Some personalities really do better for that. So there was an agent once, and she was having a really hard time breaking through. She had her license for 2 years. She had like very few sales. And she came to me and asked me for some tips. And I said, look, I don't know how to say this bluntly, but you're kind of prickly. Like you're not like the most friendly person. Like you're not someone like I want to go have a cup of coffee with.
Wow. How'd she handle that?
That's why she asked me, because I'm blunt and I'm willing to cut to the truth. I'm willing to offer her advice and tips that'll lead to success. And so I said, hey, have you ever thought about doing paid leads? Like what if you did Zillow? And I said, why don't we target these 3 zip codes? And she did. And she owned those zip codes. And she blew it out of the water. She suddenly became a top producer. She had all these leads. She had all these sales. And for her, that was really good. But the thing is, we have to go into the cost, because I think the cost of Zillow is something to talk about. And so I found, and this is just me, but I found that unless you spend $1,500 a month or more, it's a waste of time. Like you're not getting enough leads.
What makes a difference at that cut
So
point?
Zillow says that you have like a 3 to 5% conversion rate, which is very, very low, very, very low. And that's a lot of work. 3 to 5%, that means for like every 20 people I talk to, I'm only converting 1. They claim it's higher, but it really is close to that. If you look at what a lot of the stats online says. And so 3 to 5% is a very low, like it's not a very good return on your investment. In fact, the marketing rule says that you should have a 10 times ROI. So if you are spending $6,000 a year, you should be bringing in therefore $60,000 in commission or sales. So I didn't find that. But that isn't to say that Zillow doesn't have value, because I looked at it in this way. And that's that, okay, you're getting leads, but you also have like a giant billboard, right? Like a billboard's expensive. If you want to go put your face on a billboard for advertising, or a poster in the mall, or I don't know, a poster in the grocery store or somewhere else, that costs money. There's no guaranteed leads for that. It's just exposure. So by being a paid agent, you also get exposure and you get leads. So I don't know that you can use the 10 times ROI rule or your typical marketing rules for it. You have to just decide if it works for your business.
And you're paying to put the knife over your neck, guillotine style.
See, you're just
if you want to pay for that.
You're just too critical of Zillow. I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I think it works for some agents. It works for certain personalities. I think it works for certain business plans.
If you're a real estate agent and you don't know how to generate your own leads, I'm gonna lay it out here. You're doing it wrong.
Well, and I think that's what we need to go and discuss. So I'm not critical of Zillow. I think it's a great option for people that want it. I don't know how much. I think the reason I stopped is I think the general public or the customers and clients that I work don't like it. It's not a system that they want to work with, and it wasn't the quality of leads and relationships that I wanted.
Did you find that you were reaching leads that were shopping at the price point where you were your typical avatar, your ideal client? Was Zillow bringing you leads up there in that price range?
So I had a wide range.
And for those who don't know, Adam works luxury real estate. He is a highfalutin guy, and he likes to sell expensive houses.
Yeah. So for our area, I'm really high end. So my average sales around 540 last year, 540,000, so over $500,000. So I mean, very few, like maybe a couple other agents come even close to that. Yeah. So the fact that I have that highest sale, I mean, it's kind of hard to compare me to a normal agent. But that said, like I did have a couple high-end leads that come from Zillow. And so I think there's opportunities there, but yeah, the bulk of them are going to come closer to like the 200s range, which is a tough category to find because the inventory is just so
There's
low.
no inventory.
Yeah.
So then you've got a lead that's not invested in you, that you don't have an established relationship with, and you're working on a project, finding them a house that is going to be very difficult because there's no inventory and there's incredibly high competition for those houses that are available. And, will they have the resources to do all of the extra that they're likely going to need to get that house? Will they have cash reserves to go over asking price? Will they be able to offer an appraisal gap guarantee? Will they be in the position of waiving inspections and being able to absorb, whatever issues they find out about the house down the road? It seems like you're setting yourself up to work with clients in a way that is going to leave them with a bad taste in their mouth.
Yeah, I mean I mean, there's different strategies for different price ranges because every client is a different personality, and then you have to have a different approach for everyone. I mean, everyone's their own person. So I think those are all valid concerns. But I don't think Zillow is the enemy. And so let's talk about alternatives.
Wait, first I want to find out what finally made you cut the cord? Just you felt you were spending too much money?
Yeah. Yeah, so they've been really changing the way and trying different strategies in the last 2 or 3 years on how they do the leads. Like before, it was like emails, and then it was text, and then it was phone calls, and now it's all a call-in lead. And it's just it's changed the way they did it. They kind of got rid of as much exposure of the face. So I didn't do it for the leads. I don't care about that because my leads are mostly referral. All my clients are referrals. They're not leads. They're referrals. It's a very different clientele. I did it for the exposure of my face. And, the clients that list with me and sell their homes, I wanted to be a premier agent to get their listings out there with the most exposure. So for me, that was the reason. I cut cords because they kind of went away from the strategy of having like the billboard advertising to more just doing lead forms. And that's not really the kind of culture of my business strategy that I want. So for me, it just didn't work. But I think for the people that it works for, and you look at them, they're very successful. There is a certain agent that it works really well for. And I think that's good. But I think there's other alternative ways to do marketing. And you're someone that has a very niche on that. So let's talk about what you do.
I have essentially created my own lead funnel through video.
Right.
I have been creating YouTube videos on a weekly basis for years now. I have hundreds of them out there. If somebody were to type in Iowa City real estate, Iowa City neighborhoods, Iowa City realtor, anything related to that, and hop on YouTube or even Google at this point, because YouTube is owned by Google, so they are very symbiotic.
Number 1 search engine is Google. Number 2 search engine is YouTube.
Guess whose face is up there with all the videos? Hello, it's me. It's me.
And you own that market. You're the number 1.
Yeah.
Like I think if you added up every other agent that does video in our market, you still crush them by more than 200%.
Yeah. Not because I'm somehow brilliant. Not because my videos are awesome. Thank you for telling me I'm not brilliant. That was not because there's something incredibly unique about me. The reason I crush it is because I am relentlessly consistent with it.
Right. You're committed. You put in the time. You did the work for years. I mean, you didn't get a lot of leads for a couple of years until finally it took over. The algorithm kicked off. You have a following and a viewership that
it was
very
a definite experience of like pushing a snowball up a hill before it finally caught.
But now you're the expert of the market, and people find you through YouTube videos.
But these leads are not cold leads like they are on Zillow. These leads are entirely different.
Right. They're reaching out to you because they like getting to know you personally.
The genius of using video for lead generation is that people watch your videos. If they don't like you, they're not going to call you. And you know what? That's fine, because chances are you're not going to like them either. But if they do like you and they feel like I could jive with this girl, she's funny, I like her, she knows what she's talking about, they call you, and then they are so tickled to death to talk to you. They'll be like, "Oh my God, Emily, I can't believe you picked up the phone. I feel like I'm talking
to
a
celebrity,
a famous person."
Yeah.
Right. I'm a famous person walking through Hy-Vee doing my grocery shopping right now. But yes.
Hey, who started video in this market? This guy. So you copied me, but I'm proud of you because you overtook it and I stopped, and you're committed and you did it really well. So,
yeah. So the type of video that we do, you are back to video, but the types of videos that we do are very different.
Right. Yours is more of the how-tos, which is the most popular search on YouTube.
Not even necessarily how to. I'm very much into general information, educational information about Iowa City, about neighborhoods. I do have a pretty extensive catalog of things that you would need to know if you are in a transaction, either buyer side or seller side. But I've moved away from that, and I try to focus so that I am reaching my ideal client from video is somebody who is relocating to the area. And we talked about price points a little bit and what kind of a price point you were pulling off of Zillow. And the price points that I am pulling off of YouTube, they're higher. They're not as high as you, but my average sales price last year was in the mid 300s. So that's above the market average. So it works.
You own that market. You do very well, and I think YouTube is and video in general is I think video is going to be the biggest thing going forward. But I think YouTube's a very good lead generation tool as well. So we talked about Zillow, which you loathe. I think it's a useful tool to certain agents. We talked about YouTube, which you love.
I love it.
And I think the bigger thing with YouTube is also just video content in general. Yeah. Let's talk about one more lead gen here that I think is really good that I'm really big into.
Social media.
Social media in general.
You are the king.
Look, I mean, we've gone away from print and digital, or from print back in the day. I mean, back in the day, you buy like newspaper ads or magazine ads or this and that. That's how you got your exposure. And remember the rule of 7, that you have to be seen at least 7 times before somebody even starts to put your face and recognizes you and puts things together. Like it takes 7 exposures before things work because most people quit before things start to work.
Yeah.
That's where social media has become really effective is getting your daily post out there, keeping your cadence up, having that exposure. And I think something that I do differently than the 99.9% of other agents is every other agent does the overproduced, just listed, just sold, just under contract. I'm doing so well. I'm so cool.
Look at me holding the sold sign with my clients.
And they don't understand that the market doesn't want to see that.
Oh,
the
so
customers.
Cringy. It's so cringy.
Yeah. It's and they have like 1 like, maybe 2 likes, if any likes.
Nobody cares.
Because
nobody
cares.
Your dentist does not post about you coming in to get your teeth cleaned.
I had 6 patients today.
Nobody
it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. They know you're busy just coincidentally. And particularly, it's easy for me to say it where I'm at in my career because I'm an established agent. You already know that I'm selling homes day after day. Like you don't need me to post about it every day to know that I'm busy, So I think going away from that is very important for agents to understand that want to use social media as a lead generation. Use it more as a tool to create authenticity and express who you are so people can get to know you because people do business with people they like. People do business with people they like.
They want to know, like, and trust you.
That's why that your video works so well for you is because people get to know you. They feel like they know the real Emily and they call Emily now.
Yeah.
Same thing with the post online on Instagram, on Facebook. You might use LinkedIn, all these platforms and even TikTok now. Like you're out there, they get to know the real you.
I think it's important when you're thinking about posting on those social media platforms to think about your content in different buckets and not only fill one bucket. So let's talk a little bit about your social media and the different types of posts that you use that you find are helping you generate those leads.
Well, so for me, I have 3 buckets. I have my personal, which is my work life, or my personal life, my family, my son.
Your work life is your life.
It kind of is my life, honestly. That's what my wife used to say. But then I have my work life, which is, my daily, fun posts, something about real estate, maybe just could be about interest rates, but it might be just something fun about the market, like this trend or this and that. And then my third one is I'm really big into design. I'm, kind of a metrosexual. So everything design I love to talk about, from architecture to trends to different designs. And so that's a big part of what I post on a daily basis. And so I do about a 30% on each of those buckets.
So I've heard some agents complain about social media that they're very hesitant to share too much about their personal life.
I know.
With
you.
With the unknown crowds out there. Yes, I have complained. But I've heard it from other people too.
But that's the authentic you. That's the authenticity.
Yes.
People want to know that there's a real person behind this Emily Farber celebrity, that you're not just a workaholic.
And so I have been attempting to up my social media game this year.
You're welcome. I've been poking you.
And my posts that are generally the best received are
your personal post.
My personal posts.
Because people want to know about you as a person. It's the same with celebrities. You see celebrities and then they have something post just about them personal. people respond to that. People
Yeah.
want to know, I mean, people want to know the person behind, the celebrity.
So I am not yet at the point with my social media where I can definitively say this client came from Facebook, this client came from Instagram.
Well,
Your phone doesn't.
Apparently
understand.
Siri is trying to understand you.
Are you at the point where you can identify clients who have come to you specifically through social media?
The broad answer is yes. I don't necessarily ask them like, are you following my social media page? In fact, I had someone come up to me the other day and they said, oh, I follow all your social media content. Mm-hmm. I had no idea. Like, I don't creep who my followers are. You follow me to follow me.
So when I have a client and I don't automatically know where they've come from, how I've generated them, I will work it into a conversation and just say, hey, how'd you hear about me? Because I want to know. I want to know what I'm doing that works and what doesn't work. And I track every single sale. One of the pieces of data that I keep track of is where they came from.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's a very good business, a very good CEO move, because you're your own marketing manager too. You need to know where your dollars are being spent. Yeah. Hey, this was good. So we got 3 things we learned today. So Zillow, which is probably the easiest, most common paid advertising. We talked about video content, namely YouTube, which you love. And then we talked about social media broadly, from Instagram to Facebook to LinkedIn to TikTok, which I personally use.
Do you have any feelings for what you think the next big thing is going to be for lead generation, the creator economy, that whole vein where we are working as independent contractors?
And that's a great question. I mean, it's all about building relationships, right? Like that's what video and social media does, is it builds relationships. That's probably, when you look at those 3 medias we discussed today, why you loathe Zillow, is because it doesn't build relationships. Video and social media do. I mean, I think we're just getting the grasp of video. I think the future there is going to be big for quite some time. But look, we got things like the metaverse and virtual reality staring down at us. I mean, if people are really going to go in at the end of the day and go plug into some metaverse or some virtual reality and hang out there all day, like,
do we need to set up a shop in there?
Ready Player One, right? Like, yeah, I mean, you might need to, And so those things, I think, could be the potential future. But hey, it's unknown. Whatever creates relationships, because at the end of the day, we always have to remember, people do business with people they like. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah. So however you create those relationships, keep building on it.
Well, there you go. That's another episode of Hear This. Join us next time.